Welcome back to RealVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith, and I love buying and selling land, right? And so to buy a lot of these properties, I send out mail. I send out crazy amounts of mail, and I offer people cash for their land, and I get land, and some percentage of them will accept, and I buy some of that, and the ones that look better, and I put them up for sale, and I show you guys, and you get to pick and choose and cherry pick what you want and your favorite ones, right? And then I've got a couple friends that post their properties. They do the same thing. They post them on the website too. They put them up for sale. So we've got a large selection of properties all across the country that you can choose from. Usually the best priced ones in the area. So now we've had a couple years of coronavirus scarcity craziness in the real estate market, and the prices have been going, whew, a lot of this vacant land's up tenfold off the bottom, like Desert Squares and in Cochise County, Arizona, that I used to sell for $1,000. People are coming back and they're telling me they're getting $10,000 plus for these things. And other properties where I used to offer XYZ, now they're ABC. I mean, they're just, the prices have gone crazy in a lot of these areas. And so a lot of people ask, Luke, what's up next? What's the next play? What do you see? What's the outcome? And they ask, Luke, what should I buy for an investment? What should I buy for long term, short term? They ask me all these kinds of things. I'm not an investment advisor. I have been in the past. I got a pile of licenses, but I'm not. I let them lapse. I'm not an investment advisor for making those recommendations. But this is real estate. It's not stocks. This is real estate. In real estate, we don't have a lot of those rules. So I can talk about it a lot more freely. And this property that I've got in Jacksonville, Florida, this is an investment property. And this is an example. This is one of many. I've got lots of them on the website, lots of them in inventory that aren't on the website, and other ones coming. This is a commercial property. This isn't where you're going to build a house. You could build a house on it, but you don't want to, because you build a business like a gas station or a 7-Eleven or a Dollar General or a Family Dollar or a Auto Zone or a Napa or a on and on and on. Insert 100 different happy solid franchises that are going on right now. You can Google fastest growing franchise. You put a Dunkin' Donuts here, they go on every corner, right? And you could figure out which one has the least competition and the highest demand and slap one of those things on a commercial property and watch what happens to the economics. There's a lot of people that are buying those businesses, they're buying the properties, and so you build it, they'll come and you can sell it to them, and there's a big difference in there. I think it's a lot bigger difference than building houses. You could build a house and sell a house. You could do that in lots of other properties. Commercial property, you've got more opportunities, lots of different things you can build on them, a lot less rules and regulations compared to the neighborhoods of residential properties. And I think the biggest thing going for commercial right now is we've had this wild, crazy run in residential. And with COVID stuff going on, this is March of 2022, I'm making this video. Mid 2021, COVID 2020, early 2020 going to mid 2021. So like a year and a half there of shops like this. I think there's a chicken shop in the back here. Different kinds of shops. They're having trouble with COVID. Not enough people coming around, people changing their demands, they're changing their wants, they're changing their shopping patterns, whether they want to or not, they're changing it. And the shops are suffering. So a lot of the shops that were just hanging on by a fingernail, like, somebody that might try to do hair on a bald head like this, hair shops or something, they're not making it. Lots of them didn't make it, and they shut down. And they had leases that went, they got them a long time ago, and they had these rent rates that were stuck for a long time going out into the future. And the shops, the owner, the building owner, the asset owner that was renting out to those shops is going, oh no, man, I'm losing my tenants, and they're going away one after another, and I got to keep paying debts on my building, and I got to keep maintaining it, and I got to fix this thing up to get the next guy in here to run their business. And they're like, this is scary times. And it was scary for a bit there. And then halfway through 2021, it changed. It changed like on a dime, like bam. We are in the biggest boom of entrepreneurial business starting action in the world And US is the center of it, and we've got more technology, more businesses going off, little businesses starting now than ever, any time in history, anywhere that I could ever find or think of or know of, or any other place on the planet. This is where it's happening. The US is going off. People love to start their businesses. They don't want to go back to the office. They don't want to commute somewhere. They want to start a little business in their garage, in their living room, maybe in a commercial space like this, maybe a small office. In lots of the places in the US, small offices are rented out. Can't get small office, 500 square foot to maybe 1,200 square foot kind of small office. Big office, there's lots of those. Those are getting cut up into smaller offices. But shopping centers and places of smaller mom and pop shops, where it used to be a Blockbuster kind of size place, they could cut it into 2 or 3 and put mom and pop shop, 1, 2, 3, ABC, and they're offering services and products that I don't even know or understand, but 5 years from now, I won't know how to live without, right? Those kinds of entrepreneurial startups are happening. They're happening just down the street from you and I, all across the US, and they're eating up this shop space. And so all those old, low rate, low rent people moved out, and then the new ones are coming in, and they're all juiced up with capital from their houses going crazy and trying to get away from their jobs and all kinds of stuff that's going on. And they're starting their little business. This is the best time ever to start a new little business, and they're doing it. They got the time and energy, and they just went through this, and they're like, I'm not going back to that job. And they got the drive. They're banging it out, right? You're probably one of them if you're watching this video. You want change, you want something better, and you know it, and you're trying to figure out how to get it, or you're working on it, and land might be one of those tools to do it. This land and other land like it is in the front of that. So now, back to my shop center analogy. So the old people moved out, new people are moving in, and they're paying like 50% more rents. Where it used to rent for $2,000, now it's renting for $3,000 a month. Those kinds of rent changes. The guy said, I was scared, I got to fix stuff up, the markets are going crazy. They're renting stuff out at higher rates. And you know what happens when you used to rent the building out for $2,000 and now you rent it out for $3,000? This is just, corny numbers, just trying to keep it easy. Now you're making a lot more money on that same building. You probably got the same mortgage, you probably got the same taxes, you probably got the same costs, but you're making a lot more money. And when you go to your bank, not today, because it just happened, but tomorrow, and 6 months from now, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, maybe 2 years from now, depending on how conservative your banker is and the appraiser that they use, they'll look at your property. And you don't want to sell that property because you got to pay taxes on it. So you would rather refinance that property. So you go to the bank and you say, what can I borrow this time? Maybe it used to be a $5 million building, and you used to borrow against $5 million, and your rents went from $2,000 to $5,000 in multiple shops at, $5 million building. It's probably add some zeros, but you get the idea. Your rents went up a lot, and the banker says, well, same as last time, because your rents are higher, but they're not seasoned enough. But come back tomorrow and they might be seasoned enough. We're right on that fence. It's starting to happen. I don't see the money coming in yet, but it's just about to. The assessors will look at the appraisers will look at the cash flow that building is, and this is commercial. They'll look at the cash flow that building is producing by these new rent yields. And that cash flow needs to season over a certain amount of time, depending on the area, depending on the appraiser, depending on the banker. And, but 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years kind of those higher rents, landing those higher rents that they're getting now. They'll be able to, where they had a $5 million building, now they'll call it an $8 million building or something like that. And they can borrow the difference from their old loan to the new loan, some ratio of that number, but a couple $1,000,000. And if they were across the street, if they had a shopping center across the street from my commercial land like this, and they're like, ooh, now my banker's willing to give me a couple $1,000,000. I could buy Luke's land across the street, and I could build another shopping center or another storage complex or another, RV, whatever, like all kinds of different shops that these guys come up with, or gals or people. and they can make it happen. They could buy my land across the street, they could buy it across town, they could buy it across the country. But my point is, they're going from not having the capital to having a whole lot of capital on hand, coming right up. In retail, we've been on this run, and the stuff is priced based on what houses are trading at around the neighborhood. In commercial, we haven't been on this run. You know, it's maybe a little bit, but I think the way that incomes are adjusting in commercial, we're about to go on that run in activity. I don't know if it happens in price or not, but I think it will follow eventually. And we could be ahead of that, and we could buy more of these kinds of commercial properties and wait and put them out there, market and get in the way and say, come build your shop here. I got some land. Come build your shop here. And I think that's what's happening in the marketplace. And I want to focus a lot more on commercial properties moving forward. And because I've been studying this and watching it and seeing it and doing trades, and I think it's happening and I think it's coming. And I want to be in front of that. And so if you're interested in that, please follow along, subscribe. We're going to try to do more commercial properties. And if you're of the entrepreneurial spirit, you want to stay away from the job and everything else, go start studying franchises you could stick on a location like this one. Now, with all that said, let's jump into the property. You usually do it faster than that. So this is just one particular property. This is a 1.25 acre property that you could build all kinds of different things on a nice busy street. We're asking $325,000 for this one. You know, so Luke, that sounds like a lot. Yeah, but up the street, the same lots are going for like 500 grand. So I'm asking $325 in a $500,000 market because I want to jump in front of the line and beat everybody to the punch, right? So here's my property. Here's the highway, US Highway 1. And there's an RV park across the way. There's a Circle K like a lot or two over. And that's just, you know, so I'm not going to build a gas station, orange, especially an orange or red one right next door to Circle K. There's already one there. But you know they're getting enough traffic to support that. This is in Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida. The property's here. City of Jackson. So this is one of the major thoroughfares headed out of town, headed up to Daytona, I think it is. Bunch of traffic going by here. I used to know the numbers. I think it's 25,000 vehicles a day. I mean, I'd have to look it up. I don't remember exactly what the cars were. I've been looking at so many of these properties. Florida has a nice website. You can do vehicles per day and the map, and you can zoom into the property on any of these properties in Florida, and you can see what the average vehicles per day is the last time they measured it. So here's the property, and there's the Circle K. This is the 295, so the freeway and highway. Freeway, highway, and kind of crossing right up the street. So if you get people off the freeway, they come to this Circle K. They go a little further, they could go to a McDonald's or a Wendy's or a Burger King or a, you know, whatever. Popeye's Cajun Kitchen, that one's growing really fast right now. Or Chick-fil-A is growing really fast. The ones that are growing faster because they're hitting their numbers and they're making them happen. So you pick one of the fast growing ones and stick one of those in there. 325. Okay, so here's the property. We can look at this a couple different ways. I wanted to just do a street view, see if I hit it right. So here's the street. I don't think I hit it exactly right, but this is a 4-lane major thoroughfare of a street, traffic all over the place, going up and down here. And as you go up and down the street, there's a lot of commercial stuff on the street. I'm not exactly sure I'm in the right spot. You get the idea. I think the main thing I wanted to say was the rents are up in commercial. Retail has been going up, up, up. The last couple of years, retail, not including website sales, retail has been, I mean, 2021, it was up like 9, almost 10% over 2020. 2020 was like up 7 or 8% over 2019. This is during COVID. Retail sales keeps ticking away. And, you know, finally you start to see it in the rents of retail space with that shakeout we had. So clean up, shakeout. The best rebounds are off the bottom, right? This sector went cruising right through it. This says mobile gas station. But over here was Dairy Queen, Tractor Supply, Waffle House, Wendy's, another Circle K, racetrack, more gas stations, auto parts, truck parts. There's a Dollar General right there, auto finish. This is going further away from town, going this direction. As you go further towards town, there's a whole bunch of stuff going the other way. Truck supply, truck spot. Well, there was. Can't see the names. More auto towing. But this road has, here's Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, so, and a Dollar Tree. There's Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar. So a lot of the names I was just talking about are already here. So you got to find some different names and fill in the gaps. That's how you do commercial. Okay, we're back to the website. If you really want to go for this one, there's a buy it now button over here. If you're ready, if you're like, I'm going to put my Dunkin' Donuts in right there, like hit the buy it now button. It's like $500, and I got a realtor working on this one, local guy, commercial guy that knows these properties like the back of his hand. He's selling the 500 grand ones up the street, and I'm trying to get him to knock his market out with a 325. So I mean, yeah. So there's a buy now button. It'll start the paperwork, and we'll get you guys in contact to do the paperwork and make it happen. Zoning, CCG, commercial, something commercial. This is where you build a shop and a business more than a house. Okay, back to the picture. This is Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com. Hopefully you're following along, and if you agree with what I'm talking about, great, subscribe. If you disagree, I'd love to hear why. Like, where's the flaw in my analogy here? I think the same analogy is happening in apartment complexes, but there's a lot more competition in apartment complexes. In retail, there's a lot less competition, and I think the rent yields have gone percentagely larger than in apartment complexes. But I think, I'm totally game for apartment land. I keep selling apartment land. But retail land, I think, there's more of it to be had. And I think it's a good thing to have as an asset and investment as these markets are changing. I think it's going to change into our favor. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com. See you in the next one. Bye.